Hello, everybody. It's Janae Payne again, back in action on YouTube to let you guys know more information on history. So, the topic that I am going to influence and educate you guys on and give you the experience of your life that you've never had when it comes to the topic of preservation. So, preservation, like, oh my God, what is she going to say? How is she going to coordinate this or talk about this? Well, this is what I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna tell you like it is. Preservation. What do you think of when it comes to preservation? Battlefield and history. So you have historic preservation and battlefield preservation. And battlefield preservation is historical and memorial. So you have places where you can go and look at monuments, sculptures, prompts, fields, lands that you can see, and buildings. So, in this moment in time, Civil War was the most important, the American Civil War. So, in these preservations, it has American Civil War land, acres, hundreds of acres, and it's impromptu monuments that are designed for you guys to remember, not think about, to remember. So online, there's a website, it's called Impromptu Monuments, where students can engage and have a speech on historical topics. And it consists of battles and buildings, public buildings. So it converted in 1988. It was of 24 states. And there's over 130 battlefields in Civil War. There's Revolutionary War as well, and the War of 1812. And the battlefield preservation, you can look at it online on the website. And the wars that consisted of the Battle of Fort Sumter, Battle of Wells Point, Battle of Aqua Creek, Battle of Philip, Battle of Big Bethel, Battle of Bonneville, Battle of Hoke's Run. These are all battles, American battles that were fought by individuals for us today, so we can be at the place that we are now. So that's all interesting. And this is here to protect the buildings, objects, landscapes, and this is the historical significance. So like the land that we stand on, it's not just land, it's history. And we have to know this history. So in our assignment class, in one of our modules, there was 6 practical reasons for why this is significant for preservation. One was buildings have intrinsic value. You never know what's being destroyed. New businesses like or commend old buildings, and then you have buildings that attract people. So the old school attracts the new school, and I'm the new school. And so if I meet the old school, I would want to know more about it to learn wisdom. It's the same thing as with buildings. It's the same thing as people. So, and also it said reminders of the city, the culture, and the complexities, which goes in further to, you can go further and do authenticity and diversity. And then another example was regret goes only one way. So it was said that there's no chance to save historic site once it's gone. And online, what I found under the battlefield preservation, there are reasons. It benefits preservation. It strengthens the community bond. It's outdoor recreation where your family and friends can come and unite. It's local economics, where you can create jobs, visits, tourism, and support. And it's a healthy ecosystem, where open space, restoration for land and culture. And it teaches generations to learn more about the battles that were won and fought by many individuals. And so it's under the American Battlefield Trust corporate. And the contact is Jim Campy. He's the chief executive policy of communications for that. And it's just so interesting how all this information is intertwined to one. So the National Register of Historic Preservation happened, well, it was an act actually that happened in 1966. And the commemoration was in 1970. And I have two sources that were people actually talked about the preservation. For one, Angela Sonera with the title Shining Light on Civil War Battlefield Preservation and Interpretation from the Dark Ages to the Present of Stones River National Battlefield. And she basically goes into the 1890s, where it contributed to the Civil War, the veterans. The 5 military parks were made because of the veterans, the 1920, where it started patriotism, and 1933, where President Franklin Delano Roosevelt signed War Department to National Park Service. And so this is a direct eye-opener. And so if you go back a little further to 1896 is when the Stones River National Battlefield was created, but it was introduced in 1895 by Confederate veterans, and they established this endeavor in 1929 by Congress. So basically, in a nutshell, her argument was that politics means everything. That without politics, we wouldn't be able to preserve lands. We would have no say-so. So it all goes into one. We all have to work together. Another source that I found was Glenn Laffenstein, and the argument was on the Gettysburg, which was talked about in our module. And it happened in Pennsylvania. It was the largest American battle of 1863. Ooh, I don't know what I'd do if I was in war, because it consisted of women and men. It wasn't just men fighting in the battle. It was men and women on the battlefield fighting together for what they wanted and what they believed in. And so it's just all goodness that Glenn was talking about, and also the insight of problems. The problems was burial, dead bodies. Dead bodies were everywhere. It was a lot of casualties, but it was a Union victory at the same time. So the preservation means a lot to the economy today and back then. And to preserve it is the best thing that can be done these days and times, to learn about history. And being an individual that I am, I didn't know too much about preservation until I learned in the public history class, and how preservation means so much to our economic system, and how we keep the grass green, and the environment healthy so we can breathe. And it's a good entertainment spot for people like my children to learn about things in history. And it's fun and exciting. It doesn't have to be boring. It's all unique. So we all started off in America as a blank page. And then land started to form, and then we have the trees that began, and ownership at the same time. And then people started adapting to it. And then you have more people. It just started to grow and grow. And then war. Because of land and ownership. So to know the history is extraordinary, and historic preservation is very important to know about in this economy and how it can change your life. And thank you.